I was sitting in geography, trying to learn about earthquakes, when all of a sudden, my phone starts vibrating. I have it on the desk right beside my laptop, which is out, which I use to take notes for geography. Everybody's freaking out. Twitter, DMs, YouTube messages, Reddit posts. The Vancouver Canucks are holding a press conference, and everybody is speculating, okay, this is going to be it. Jim Benning is coming back. Bob McKenzie reported on this. Elliot Friedman said that it was most likely going to be a 3-year deal. And just as everybody expected, the Vancouver Canucks extend Jim Benning, the general manager of the team, to what they proclaim as a multi-year deal. Elliot Friedman reported it as 3 years, but the Vancouver Canucks, they say multi-year, so it's 3 years, let's be honest here. Overall, I don't necessarily have too much of a strong opinion either way. I think bringing back Jim Benning is a good move. I'm not sure about my full thoughts on the timing of this announcement. And overall, I saw a huge debate everywhere. On Reddit, on the Canucks subreddit, there just seemed to be an overwhelming wave of support for Jim Benning, saying that, okay, haters are gonna hate, that's fine. He deserves this. And I can totally understand that point of view. I can totally understand that Jim Benning is a guy who has worked hard these past few years, and he kind of does deserve an extension. However, if you go over to hockey Twitter, and you look at some of the Canucks fans who are posting on the Twitters, you look at some of the Canucks people who are in the media, some Canucks professional writers, not just the fans, but the writers, there's an overwhelming just wave of hatred for this move. I can see people all over the place just furious with the fact that we made this announcement, and there are a lot of interesting arguments and point of views that are being presented on Twitter. A lot of people who are pro-Benning will always bring up the argument, oh, well, Benning haters, they don't like the fact that we have Brock Besser, and they don't like the fact that we got Demko and we traded for Dahlin. Benning made all these moves happen, and Benning haters don't like the fact that we got these young, good players coming up. And I could totally see that. I could totally understand somebody on a pro-Benning point of view just saying, yeah, no, Benning helped build the prospect pool. He helped build a really good prospect pool, and it's a prospect pool that we can really look forward to. Sure, the defense is a little bit lacking, but our forward core is set. The overwhelming response I heard in response to this argument on hockey Twitter was basically, of course he built the prospect pool. The team that he built on the ice in the Vancouver Canucks jersey in Rogers Arena, this team sucked for 3 years. Of course he's going to build a good prospect pool, because the team that he iced out for the Vancouver Canucks fan base in the present is absolute trash. And I saw this argument being made so many times, and there was an overwhelming response from both sides saying, okay, he built the prospect pool, and, well, of course he built the prospect pool. And then there are other people saying, yeah, well, the prospect pool's not really that good. How many defensemen do we have in our system that we can definitely see being on the team in the next few years? It's one, Olli Juolevi. We need more defense, and Jim Benning hasn't done a good job in drafting a fulfilling, full, satisfying prospect pool for the future. And what do we have as a result of this? We have a team that still sucks. Jim Benning coming back, this means that this is another 8-year rebuild. I look forward to the 8-year rebuild. That's what anti-Benning people are saying on the Twitters. And if you go over to the Reddits, people are praising Benning because he kind of deserves this. And I can see both points of views here. I can't really decide on whether or not I believe I like it at the moment or not. I said at the beginning of this video, I think it's a good move, I think it's the right move. But it's the timing. And that's kind of the thing that I'm wishy-washy about. I'm fickle about that. And I can totally see both points of views here. I can totally understand that a lot of people were like, okay, we need to look at the other options of general managers that are available. If we kept Jim Benning as a scout on this team, and we were able to bring in a new face to manage the organization, that would be the best case scenario. And I agree with that. I agree that if we maintained Benning on the team as a scout, And we brought in somebody new who has more general manager experience and who is generally regarded by the public to be a good general manager. We brought somebody like that in. I'm not saying that's Ken Holland. It's not Ken Holland, in my opinion. I believe that would have been the best case scenario. But of course, the best case scenario doesn't always happen. And the fact that this is the outcome that we got, I think it's fine. For now. But I can totally understand some people's hatred for this move at the moment. Why didn't we consider any other general managers before the trade deadline? And I think that is a good point to bring up. This is a point that S7 on Twitter actually brought up while in a group conversation. The fact that Jim Benning getting re-signed now, this allows him to do whatever he wants, basically for the next 3 years. The Aquilinis, they will be up there and they will be judging and overall giving advice to Benning in terms of what to do, but Benning ultimately has the final hand in what goes on. And I was in the general belief that this trade deadline upcoming on February 26th, I believe, this upcoming trade deadline should have been the defining moment for Jim Benning's career here. I was under the belief that if Jim Benning was still unsigned next season by the trade deadline and his actions at the trade deadline would dictate whether or not he would be okay to stay. And if he was able to, let's say, he trades Vanek, he trades Goodbranson, he trades Tanev, heck, he even finds a way to trade Eriksson, and he gets in all these assets back. I felt that that moment would have been the moment where we would have said, yes, we were on board with bringing him back. If he was able to make moves like Dahlin for Burrows or Hansen for Goldobin, again, at this year's trade deadline, I feel that that should have been the deciding moment on whether or not he comes back. But of course, things don't always play out that way, and now he is back, for sure. He got re-signed. And I, for one, am not really surprised, because Brock Besser basically saved his job, let's be honest here. The fact that he drafted Brock Besser, and the fact that he's drafted so well, and some of these draft picks are doing well on the team now, cough cough, not necessarily Jake Virtanen, I believe that this is the kind of thing that really does influence the management to say, okay, we're signing you and you're coming back. Again, I don't necessarily believe that this was the right time to make this move. I feel that the trade deadline really would have put pressure on Benning to make more good, impactful moves had he not been signed, but now he has the freedom to do whatever he wants. If he ends up pulling another Verbata and Hamhuis at the trade deadline, that is the time that I will get really pissed off with this re-signing. But right now, I'm okay with it. I can see the points of views on both sides of hockey Twitter, where everyone's condemning Benning for not really icing a good team, and of course, he built the prospect pool. Of course he built the prospect pool, because the team was bad. What do you expect, to not build the prospect pool after 3-4 years of tanking? And I can totally understand the points of views from the hockey community on Reddit. Okay, he's done well. And he deserves this. Sure, he's had a few bad moves. Eriksson's contract, Sutter's contract, some of the contract extensions have been really bad, but for the most part, he's helped build a good prospect pool, and he's heading the team into a right direction. That's why he deserves to stay here. Jim Benning coming over here, this is an opportunity for Benning to finish what he started when he took over the team back in 2014. This is another opportunity for Jim Benning to rewrite the next chapter of Vancouver Canucks hockey. I can totally understand that point of view as well. And I can believe both of them when they say it. Sure, he should have iced a better team, and sure, he built the prospect pool. Sure, the prospect pool was built because the Canucks were bad, but sure, he legitimately made a good prospect pool through his good drafting and promotion of Judd Brackett. Brock Besser, in my opinion, is the one defining factor here, because if Brock Besser wasn't having the rookie season he's having right now, if Besser was an AHL player and getting, let's say, middle 6 minutes in the AHL, I don't think Benning would have gotten this re-signing. I believe that so. Because Brock Besser coming in here, I think this acts as a testament to just how Benning has a plan and how he believes it's going to work. And overall, it's the way it is. Complaining and all that, it's not going to get us anywhere. We're not going to change the fact that Benning got re-signed. All we can do is look forward, and I'm looking forward to this trade deadline. Because if Jim Benning finds a way to not trade Goodbranson and Vanek, I'm going to be pissed off then. That is when I'll be pissed off at this re-signing. But right now, as things are going, as things have gone, and as the letter that Trevor Linden published to season ticket holders of the Vancouver Canucks dictates, the Canucks, they're going in that direction. And we're still building up the youth. And I know that hockey Twitter is saying, yeah, well, we've been building up the youth for 3 years now. What's changed? Personally, this is just me. I'd be okay with waiting another few more years. We saw how long Toronto took before they got to the state they're in now. And if the Vancouver Canucks have to go through growing pains to become a good team again, I'd be willing to stick with it. Granted, I don't think that we're going to take as long as Toronto did, but the fact that we already have Bo Horvat and Besser on the team, and guys like Pettersson and Demko on the way, I think we're in a good spot. And having Benning here, this is just another opportunity for him to finish what he started. And whether you're on the side of hockey Twitter or Canucks subreddit fans, we're all still going to be cheering for this team regardless. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. For plus, you thought your host like not stressing gaming, and bye.